What is up, world? This is Coolman Junior 88. Just here to talk about subjects on the current state of WWE. I am very honored and pleased to invite a very good friend of mine. He just recently returned to YouTube. The dashing one, Kevin Walsh. What's up, Kevin?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Good, man.
It's awesome.
First video with me on my channel. So, what do you think?
I think it's awesome. Like I said, it's a lot of friends. I look forward to doing the video.
All right. So let's get the elephant out the room right away. What do you think of CM Punk leaving, supposedly leaving the WWE with the WWE Championship?
Well, if CM Punk ever leaves the WWE, then obviously that's going to be a huge loss on their part. Not only do they lose, a great wrestler, they also lose, a great superstar, a WWE superstar for that matter. He's definitely one of the, obviously, like the future talents. If he is to stick with the company, he's definitely, shoo-in for a Hall of Famer. And some say that, even CM Punk, as far as, backstage respect goes in the locker room, he's like the next Undertaker. And, if those rumours are true, then that's good to hear. And, it's good to see that, CM Punk's more of a company's man and not so much, a selfish guy who backstabs people. But, getting back to what you're saying, I think he won't retire with a WWE title. What he might do is, let's just say, like, he beat John Cena, right? And this is not my idea. This was Stone Cold RKO 512's idea, so that he doesn't, pull me up on stealing his idea. What he said was what might happen is on that night CM Punk wins, but the winner of the Money in the Bank then cashes in their briefcase or their contract, to face CM Punk, and CM Punk loses and then obviously goes out with shame, and the Money in the Bank winner, whoever it may be, is your new champion. That actually was a really, really good idea on Steven's part.
So you think someone will pull a Kane, which Kane on last year's Money in the Bank cashed in his contract, his SmackDown contract that night. You think someone will do that?
That's exactly what I think. And like I said, it's not so much my idea, it's more Stone Cold RKO 512's idea. And I'm giving all props to him because, I actually didn't see it like that. To the point where, someone who would win, the Money in the Bank would actually cash it in on, the current champion, CM Punk, if he was to win. However, if CM Punk was to lose, then, it would kind of suck because not only would he lose to John Cena, who, rarely loses, he'll also, supposedly retire. But I hope he doesn't retire because, he's a great talent. I'm not a fan of the guy. I'm not saying that, I don't respect him or anything like that. It's just like when it comes to wrestlers, I can't be a fan of them if I haven't been a fan of them from the start. Now, I know it's like never too late to start liking a wrestler, but, I'm not going to be like a mark and be like, oh yeah, I'm fans of all the great wrestlers. Because if you're a fan of every single wrestler, then it's kind of pointless. You got to have like your separate wrestlers who you think that, is just a bit better, or the ones that you prefer. For example, I like Randy Orton, and second to that, I think Dolph Ziggler's a great talent, and like everybody else has got different views. I know there's a lot of CM Punk fans out there, and I'm sure they're going to be pissed when he leaves. And same here, I'd probably be pissed if I was a CM Punk fan. I'm pissed anyway, though I'm not a CM Punk fan because like I said, he's a huge asset to the roster, and it's a huge loss if he was to how would I put it, like retire or go somewhere else.
Absolutely, and CM Punk, with the current state of the roster, in my opinion, would be a devastating loss, especially with the current state of the roster and how weak it is. Not so much weak, just devoid of good, solid wrestlers. As we all know, we've lost Shawn Michaels. A great number of talented superstars over the course of this year. So to lose CM Punk would be devastating. I personally am sort of a fan, like you said, Kevin. I don't necessarily like the dude for his views pertaining to his character, but I like his athleticism and what he brings to the ring. Moving on to the second topic, what do you think of the 2 3-hour Raws back to back, All-Star Night and this recent 3-hour Raw, People's Choice?
If I gotta be completely honest, and despite whether criticism for this or not, that doesn't really concern me because it takes more than that to obviously put me down. But I think both Raws could have been better. They weren't the worst, but it's my opinion. I think they were shit.
Well, the mic work on the All-Star Night, especially with Stone Cold being the Raw general manager for the night, was hot. The mic work, but overall, as far as the in-ring goes, I would have to agree with you on that one. And then the People's Choice was obviously rigged. I wanted to see Sin Cara versus Evan Bourne, obviously, but somehow miraculously Mason Ryan was chosen, and I didn't find that too fair. But absolutely, as far as the 2 3-hour Raws go, with the exception of what I just said, absolute shit. Now on to another topic. What do you think Vince McMahon will do with, hypothetically, let's say, The Undertaker or John Cena or Triple H, especially with Undertaker and Triple H making very very rare appearances on the program nowadays?
I believe, as far as Undertaker and Triple H goes, we're bound to see another match from them, maybe in the upcoming WrestleMania or maybe another big pay-per-view, such as SummerSlam or something like that. Something that stands out, whether it be SummerSlam, the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, doesn't matter what it is. I'm sure they still got a couple more matches left in them. But obviously down the line, eventually they have to retire. Triple H said, number of knee problems. It's only a matter of time before he has another one, and it might just be the end of him being able to walk, sadly. So if I was him, I'd do the right thing and retire whilst you still can, whilst you're still walking, because it is kind of taking a chance always, going out there and taking the risk that he does with the way his knees are, because they're not stable enough, and he has to have that heavy knee padding. And as far as The Undertaker goes, same again. I don't know if he's had many injuries. I know that he's at that age now where he needs to slow it down a bit. He still can go. I don't know how long he can go for. He's about, I think, 50 years of age, if I'm not mistaken, or late 40s, and he's been wrestling ever since the first Monday Night Raw show, back in way before the Attitude Era, when Raw first went on air, for that matter. So he was on the first program, and he's still here currently to this day, not on Raw, but I believe he's on the SmackDown roster. I'm not sure. If not, then correct me. But like I said, we're bound to see Undertaker obviously put his streak up on the line again, and hopefully it's against somebody like, Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho would be a great opponent for the Undertaker. Will Chris Jericho beat him? I would like to think he could beat him, but let's be honest, if anybody was to beat the Undertaker, nobody will be happy. No matter how good of a wrestler they are, there will always be a fan out there saying that, oh well, why didn't Shawn Michaels win, or why didn't Randy Orton win, or why didn't this person win and that person and this person, you know what I mean? Or why didn't Triple H win? So basically, no matter who was to ever beat the Undertaker, they'll most probably be the most hated superstar in the history of the WWE, just for the fact that they ended the legendary streak, and that's why I maybe think that the streak probably won't end.
Yes, absolutely. As we both saw, I was honored enough to watch WrestleMania 27 with you, and as we both saw, Undertaker was absolutely physically dead. Not so much physically dead, but as
Very beaten.
as far as maneuverability goes, he was physically dead and had to be carried out, and was a very very scary moment for me, especially being a long time since the age of 12 wrestling fan.
Hmm.
Um, that was probably WrestleMania 27, the scariest aftermath of such a historic match for me, from The Undertaker. And as far as he goes, it's been rumored that Chris Jericho will face him. But my question is, and I don't know if you my question is, how many more matches does Undertaker actually have in his body after WrestleMania 27 and what we saw at the end of WrestleMania 27? I don't think he has but one or two more matches.
Yeah. I mean, same again, like I said before, I can't necessarily see him, wrestling all his career, and eventually he'd have to hang up his boots and maybe work backstage. He's definitely going to be a Hall of Famer, no doubt. Probably
Oh,
considered one of the all-time greats. Some people would actually call him the greatest, but I can kind of argue that in a sense. There are obviously better athletes than him and better wrestlers, but when you talk about overall, as from the image appeal to the gimmick to the charisma and the electricity that the Undertaker brings to the arena, like in order how the fans go crazy for him. I think there's not going to be anybody like the Undertaker, so it's always going to be a debate, whether or not Undertaker was technically one of the best, or if not the best wrestler of all time. When you talk about the overall package for a wrestler, I definitely think the Undertaker is a force to be reckoned with because for one, he's got that legendary WrestleMania streak, and he's had like legendary feuds with a load of superstars, and he's definitely considered, I think, the most respected person in the locker rooms as far as backstage politics is concerned. There's nothing, you can always say good things about the Undertaker. There's nothing really bad you can say about him, and like I said before, I don't think that he has that many matches left in him. But like I said, I can still see him in a way wrestling for another 2 years, not full time, but he'd be wrestling, say, at like WrestleMania or maybe SummerSlam, or like pay-per-views that stand out during the year, and where he can obviously make his presence felt, and where the fans haven't seen him for a long time. I'm sure he get a really great reception.
absolutely, absolutely. And with Triple H, I believe if his knees are as bad as you say they are, which none of this has been confirmed by WWE or any other reputable source. If in fact Triple H's knees are as bad as you say they are, I believe he should pull an Edge and just admit that his body is too beaten up and stay
Yes.
backstage.
Well, I mean, it hasn't been fully confirmed, but if anybody knows Triple H, more than anybody would probably obviously be like a Triple H fan. I know a few of them. I'm going to give away their names because, I haven't spoken to them in some time and I don't really want to speak on their behalf. That's a negative thing. But let's just say if you go up to any Triple H fan and then you ask them if they know about Triple H's surgeries and stuff like that and his history, they'll pretty much confirm to you that his knees are really, really bad to the point where if he was to have yet another injury, it could be life-threatening, just like with Edge. So, like you said, it would be a wise idea for Triple H to perhaps retire whilst he's still got a chance.
While he's able to walk, and speaking on Edge, I commend Edge for admitting that he can't go anymore, and that he's able to walk. Because I would rather see him walk around than in a wheelchair. That's very very commendable. Now on to a very controversial topic, the Ultimate Warrior and what he had to say. I know I've watched all 8 parts of his video. But what are your thoughts on the Ultimate Warrior statements towards Hulk Hogan, and do you find any validity in them?
Well, as far as this sweet war's been going on, and the multiple videos that the Warriors made, it's almost hard to pick side on who you believe, because Warriors got some interesting points, and I wouldn't be surprised if more than half of them are true, because Hulk Hogan doesn't really seem to be like a nice guy. He seems to be all about the money, willing to step on people, this that, and Warriors covered that. But the thing about Warrior is, he claims to be so innocent in all of this, but yet, there's bound to be something that he's done wrong in his life, which he's done multiple bad things, I'm sure. Where he's had a lot of backstage issues, with his contract, etc. He's another guy, perhaps all about the money. I think with the Warrior, I think he's a bit jealous of Hulk Hogan, because when you ask fans about wrestlers from the 80s, and you ask any non-wrestling fan, can you name an old-time wrestler? The first name that comes to mind would be Hulk Hogan, and second to that, rest in peace, would probably be the Macho Man Randy Savage. And a lot of the time you'll find that a lot of people don't tend to talk about the Ultimate Warrior. Now, wrestling fans know of the Ultimate Warrior, but Hulk Hogan's known by wrestling fans and non-wrestling fans, and Hulk Hogan's a much bigger superstar. He's done a lot more for the business than the Ultimate Warrior has, and I think there's a little bit of jealousy there. But as far as their little feud going on, or whatever you want to consider it, their little hatred, Ultimate Warrior obviously was the one who started throwing the fire, so and Hulk Hogan hasn't really responded. So I think this is maybe a cheap way of the Warrior trying to get his name recognised again, because let's be honest, he kind of was an afterthought. There wasn't really much good things said about him. His DVD, I believe, which some of my friends own, I believe the documentary side of it, a lot of them said that he was crazy, he wasn't exactly the best at cutting a promo, he was in his own world most of the time, wasn't the best wrestler, neither was Hulk Hogan. But I'd always pick Hulk Hogan over the Ultimate Warrior easily, so I'm not going to take anybody's side. I'm just going to say it's childish what they're doing, and it should just all stop, and they should just get back to what they're doing in life. And if I was Ultimate Warrior, I'd try to get negotiations with WWE, and which I'm sure he has done, obviously, because he's featured on recent video games such as WWE All Stars. Basically, what I'm saying is the Ultimate Warrior, you should try. Is he a Hall of Famer, or is he not a Hall of Famer?
No, not to my knowledge.
No, that's what I was thinking. Now, maybe he should try, see if he can one day perhaps get the phone call, to try being a Hall of Fame. And that's what I mean. That's why maybe he should try, clear things up and maybe work backstage and teach some of the, the boys in the back how to, pretty much, do what he does for his time period. I mean, it's certainly brushed off on many superstars. You see, powerhouses tend to channel Ultimate Warrior, guys like Batista. You see shades of the Ultimate Warrior in him, because, he kind of stills, the same kind of thing that he does, where he's, shaking on the ropes and stuff like that. So, without a doubt, Ultimate Warrior set a trend in wrestling, but so did, so did Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan pretty much set a bigger trend. So, yeah, I definitely believe Hulk Hogan's got a bigger fan base, and Hulk Hogan is the main guy, when it's all said and done, when it comes down to the better person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you as far as in ring with Ultimate Warrior goes. He only had about 3 moves, and you hear, speaking of said DVD, I watched that DVD, and you hear guys like Triple H and Hulk Hogan and the brass of WWE state that, especially for Triple H, the one experience that he had at, I don't know which pay-per-view it was, but it was the worst pay-per-view he'd ever had coming into the business, and that 1 minute match with the Honky Tonk Man for the Intercontinental Championship, which led into the WrestleMania match for the dual championships with Hulk Hogan. Absolutely a farce in the ring, but in my opinion, the lucidness of his statements in these said videos is more astounding than anything else, because I haven't heard a lucid statement from him since he left WWE. So to finally hear a lucid statement from him, and concerning one of the biggest superstars ever of all time, especially in the 80s, and to have some of them more than likely be true is awesome to me. I mean, that's just me. Let's see. Anything else there, Kevin?
Not too much to say, but like I said, the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan's little thing going on, even though it's mostly the Ultimate Warrior attacking Hulk Hogan through Twitter and through YouTube. I think it's pretty sad, to the fact that you have someone like Ultimate Warrior, stoop that low to the point where he's making YouTube videos about things that happened in the past. I mean, if that was the case, why didn't he do this a very long time ago, where he had the chance to say it to his face, or perhaps just like put it out there in general. I mean, I just think it's like a cheap way, I believe, of him trying to get some views and trying to get his name heard again, and just trying to get out there. But he's going about it the wrong way. If I was him, I'd be with the money that he's got. I believe he's still got some money. He should be working with charity organisations and doing something positive, rather than wasting time on YouTube and making videos on Hulk Hogan, where Hulk Hogan's not even going to acknowledge him, because Hulk Hogan till this day is still living large, and he's now, I believe, I don't know if he's got some kind of sharehold in TNA still. He might do. But either way, like I said, Hulk Hogan's living large. Ultimate Warrior's not really doing too much, and Ultimate Warrior's still, to this day, jealous. I think he's always been jealous of Hulk Hogan. Like I said, he might have some valid points on Hulk Hogan, and, he might have some truth on Hulk Hogan, but, it is what it is.
Oh, absolutely. And with that, I can't think of anything else. Do you want to plug anything, Kevin? Kevin.
Sorry, what was you saying?
Did you want to plug anything?
Oh, no, sorry about that. The background noise. Someone's got a hairdryer on. I'm sorry, do I want to plug anything?
Yeah, do you want to plug anything?
Not particularly, no. I mean, if anybody's heard of me, my name's Dashing Kevin Walsh on YouTube. I don't play on the Dashing gimmick. It's just a name I came up with, So if you want to go check out my channel, feel free to do that. Also subscribe to, Coolman Jr. 88 here, I believe. That's your name.
Yes, sir.
And,
yes, sir.
It's a good video.
Thank you very much, Kevin. This has been Coolman Jr. 88, your source for wrestling, NASCAR, and music news. I hope to do another video like this. And once again, thank you, Dashing.
No problem, man.
All right.